Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear sisters. Inshallah, today we'll continue with the advanced course lessons. And today, inshallah, we'll study together a very important lesson under the title of the relation between the letters. It is called the two identical, the two similar, the two close, and the two far letters. In Arabic we call this المتماثلان المتجانسان المتقاربان والمتباعدان. So inshallah, this time we will be explaining this lesson inshallah, and we have to keep in mind that if the letters are already close in their articulation points, so we expect all the time to have a relation between these letters if they are close in their articulation point. Okay, the first one we're gonna take today inshallah, which is gonna be the two identical letters, or in Arabic we call it المتماثلان. We call it the two identical or the two alike letters. Okay, I mean two letters are exactly the same and they are coming after each other. So in this case we expect to have a relation for sure between these two letters because they are having the same articulation point, as I told you in the beginning. Okay, so for example, the word اذهب بكتابي. اذهب بكتابي. The word اذهب ends with ba, and the word بكتابي starting with ba. So we have two ba coming following each other. So in this case we call these المتماثلان, or the two alike letters, or the two identical letters. What is the ruling about that? If we have two identical letters, we have to first check on the vowels. If the first one of them is a second letter and the second is a vowel letter, so in this case we call it المتماثلان الصغير, or the small alike, when the first letter is second and the second letter is voweled. And in this case, we should apply idgham. We have to merge the first letter into the second letter. For example, the word اذهب بكتابي, as I told you, the first ba was second one, and the second ba was voweled one with kesra. So in this case, we call the two small alike. Small, why we call small? Because the first letter is second, the second one is voweled. And in this case, we have to merge them together. So we have to merge the first ba into the second one to become one double ba. اذهب بي. اذهب بكتابي, like that. So that's simply the first type of the two alike letters, which we call the small alike. Okay. The second case is the big alike, and in this case we have the two letters voweled, the first one and the second one, and it is like, for example, in the word manasikakum. Manasikakum, here the two kaf are coming the same word following each other. They are like, they are identical, but both of it having vowel. The first kaf got fatha and the second kaf also got fatha. So in this case we call it the big alike. This is not the small but the big now. We call the big. And in this case we shouldn't merge them together, but we have to make both of it clear, like manasikakum, kaku, kaku. So I'm pronouncing each one by itself and we are not merging them into the other. The third case, which is the absolute alike. The absolute alike in Arabic we call it المتماثلين المطلق. Al-mutlaq means absolute. So what should we do here? What's the case here? The case here that the first letter is a vowel letter and the second is a second letter. This is the opposite of the small case. Now we have the first letter as voweled and the second letter is second. So we call this the absolute small alike. The absolute alike. So what should we do in this case? The absolute alike case. Here also we should do the same like we did with the big alike. We have to pronounce each letter by itself without merging. So in the case of the absolute alike, when the first letter is having a vowel and the second is second, so we should pronounce it each one by itself without merging. And there is an example for that on Surah Al-Baqarah on the word nansakh. Nansakh. We have nun got fatha at the beginning, so the first letter is having a vowel, and the second letter is a second one. Nansakh. So in this case, we have to pronounce each one by itself without merging. Without merging. So now we took the first part of this lesson, which is the two identical letters, the two alike letters. We have three cases. The small alike, when the first letter is second and the second is vowel. In this case, we have to merge them. The second case is the big alike, when the two letters are voweled, and in this case we have to do izhar to pronounce both clearly without merging. And the third case was the absolute alike, which that the first letter is voweled and the second is second. So in this case we have also to make izhar and pronounce each letter by itself. That was the first part of this lesson, which is the two identical letters. Now let's take the second part, which is the two we took now al-mutamathilaini, or the two alike letters. Now we'll be taking the second type, which is the two similar letters. We call in Arabic al-mutajanisaini, or al-mutajanisaini, or al-mutajanisani. So what should we do here? Here, how it looks like a mutajanisani? They are coming from the same articulation point, but they are not identical. They differ in their characteristics. So they are not the same letters. No, they are different, but they are having the same articulation point. And I'll be giving you now the relation, what's going to happen between two letters when they are similar from the same articulation point, but they differ in their characteristics. We should divide them as we did with the alike, the alike, the mutamathilaini, the one we did before, to divide them into small, big, and absolute again. So depending on that case, we'll see if there is gonna be a relation or no. The first case, the small similar. The small similar. And in this case, as we took before, the first letter is second and the second letter is voweled. In this case, we have to apply idgham. We have to merge the first letter into the second letter. I'll be giving you the cases we have like that on the word, for example, when the two letters are ta and ta. Ta and ta. Here the ta and ta are coming from the same articulation point, but they are not identical. They differ in their characteristics. So in this case, there is a relation between them. If the first letter is second, the second is voweled, like in the word قالت طائفة. قالت, it ends with ta, and then طائفة, ta followed by ta. So in this case, the first letter is second, the second letter is voweled, so we merge them together to say قالت. قالت. Now we are not pronouncing the ta, but we are merging it into the ta. قالت طائفة, like that. The same with the ta if it came first, the ta and then the ta. But here we are not going to merge the ta completely into the ta, because the ta is a very strong letter. We should not merge in a weak letter like the ta. So we are doing this idgham, but partially, not fully. We are pronouncing the ta first, and then we end the sound with the ta, like that. The word basatta, we are not saying basatta, and we are not saying basatta, but we are merging the ta into the ta, keeping the heaviness of the ta at the beginning, like that. Basatta, basatta. So in this case, the ta is merged into the ta, but not completely. Still the ta having its heaviness. The third case between the dal and the ta. Dal and ta, they are also coming from the same articulation point, so we should merge them together, like قد تبين. We say قد, we're not saying قد, no. We merge the dal into the ta now because they are similar, coming from the same articulation point. The same if the ta came first and then the dal, like أجيبت دعوتكما. Here we're not gonna say أجيبت. We have to merge this ta. We say أجيبت دعوتكما. أجيبت. So in between dal and ta, ta and dal, ta and ta, ta and ta. The case after that between dal and dha, he also merged the dal into the dha. For example, إذ ظلمتم. Here we're gonna merge saying إذ ظلمتم. إذ Yeah, so the dhal and the dha are coming from the same articulation point, but they differ in their characteristics. So we have to merge them if they are in the case of the small similar letters, like the first letter is second and the second is vowel. The tha and the dhal also should merge, like يلهث ذلك. We say يلهث ذلك, يلهث. Okay. The ba and the mim, also the same. They are coming from the same articulation point. And if we have them in the case that the ba or the first letter is second, the second is vowel, so we call this the small similar letters, so we have to merge them. So it's going to be, for example, اركب معنا, it will become اركم معنا. We're going to apply the idgham. So these are the cases when we have the small similar letters. The first one is second, the second is vowels. In this case, we have to apply idgham. So how about if it's not the small case, that the first letter is not second, like the big case, when the first letter is voweled and the second letter is voweled. So in this case, if it is big, if we have the two letters as voweled, so we have to apply the izhar. We should not merge them. We should not merge them. And also in the case of the absolute, when the first letter is voweled and the second is second, so we also should apply izhar and we should not merge them. So in this lesson, we took the first part, which is the first two types, المتماثلين, the two alike letters, and المتجانسين, the two similar letters. And then we took the rulings about it. We have to keep in mind that if we have the same articulation point, so we expect to merge the letters in the case that the first letter is second and the second is vowel. So in this case, the small case, we should merge them if they are coming from the same articulation points. Inshallah, we'll continue with the two last types of this lesson, inshallah, in the next part. Jazakumullah khair.